the one, the only Benzion.
Good afternoon and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is Benzion Gittin, daf Memtet, number 49. This daf deals extensively with the machlokas Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Shmuel, which is stated in the Mishnah. B'damazik shaymina, b'denizak shaymina. When someone's mazik someone else's property, your animal goes and devours someone else's field, you have to pay back if you don't have money. You pay back with your real estate, with your nechasim. Now, there's three classifications of field. There's fields which are superior fields, basically very fertile fields. People can sell it easily. Then you have property which is average. People in real estate know this. And you have ziboris, which is located in bad places. No, it's not liquid. It's hard to sell those properties, even though they might be worth the same amount, but it's not as liquid. It is very liquid. People want to buy it. It's in the best communities, the best places. Beinos is in average places, and ziboris is not in the best places. So Rabbi Akiva says, but the mazik shayminan, right? You're the one who was mazik. Your property, your animal was mazik, his field. You pay your best. Torah says, meitav kseder, meitav karmi shalom. The Gemara explains that really the reasoning of Rabbi Akiva is along the lines of Rabbi Shimon. There's a svara in the Torah for that. Rabbi Shimon's dorish time of the crop. It makes sense because otherwise, if people didn't have to pay their best land, then people would just be thieves and they would steal other people's property and say, I'll pay inferior land, I'll pay average land. He has a really nice property, I'll steal. But now they know Base is going to come and take their best land, so they won't go and they won't extort people, they won't steal from people. According to Rabbi Akiva, the concept of Nezikin in general, this is a very broad machlokas I'm saying over here, and you have to analyze it further and more in detail when you come to Maseches Bava Kama. But I heard this from Yonasan Sachs in Yeshiva University. There's two different English words when it comes to tashlumin, paying back. Does tashlumin mean, there's two words in English, remuneration or compensation. Remuneration, they're both used, right? When someone works for somebody else, they got compensated for their work or their time. And remuneration is also used. They're used interchangeably in the English language, but they mean very different things. They have every synonym is the synonym. It's not exactly the same word. There's a reason in English, I always say English is the most precise language. Hebrew is the most concise language, but English is the most precise language. There could be 10 synonyms for one, but they each mean something a little different. Otherwise, there would be the same word. So, according to Rabbi Akiva, the point of Nezikin, that you pay be'idis, is remuneration. Remuneration is basically like a punishment. That's what it is. You know, I worked you for 10 hours. I punished you. You slaved for me for 10 hours working as a secretary. I'm paying you back, right? I'm paying you back for the job you did. Compensation is not exactly. Compensation is also used for paying someone's wages, but compensation basically means that you lost something, right? Remuneration, you'd say, is for a person who was subjugated to hard work. So remuneration, you pay him back for his hard work. Compensation is more for your time, right? I could have done something else with my time. I'm compensating you that you work 10 hours as secretary for me. I'm compensating you for your time. That's the difference in compensation and remuneration. According to Rabbi Shmuel, that's how it works by Nezikin, technically. That's exactly what Nezikin is. We're compensating you. Your animal went and devoured my fields. So according to Rabbi Shmuel, how do you evaluate? You pay idus. The Mishnah says idus. Now, what does that mean according to Rabbi Shmuel? So the Gemara explains, it's talking about a case where the best field of the nizak, the person who's damaged, is equal to the worst field, equal in value to the worst field, or equal in quality to the worst field of the mazik, right? His best field, let's look at his whole portfolio. The nizak's portfolio, his best property is, real estate that's basically immovable, but he has worse properties. And the mazik's portfolio, he has a pretty nice portfolio. He has pretty high-end real estate and Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, but he also has some cheap property, which is equal on level to in liquidity to the real estate of the nizak. So how do you evaluate? You evaluate the person who was damaged, right? You damage his field. So we say, let's compensate you for what was damaged. The most that he could have damaged is your best property. So therefore, I'm the mazik, I could pay. It's the same thing. If my worst property right, is in the same neighborhood as your best property, so I'm compensating you exactly as fair. It's actually more fair, Rabbi Yishmael. It makes more sense, Rabbi Yishmael. But the Nizak Shaimina, that you have to pay compensation, right? And therefore, you pay for, it's the same exact thing. I'm compensating you. My worst real estate is equal to your best real estate, so I'm giving you the real estate, which is compensation for the real estate you lost. You lost your best real estate. I'm giving you my worst real estate, but they're equal. It's a fair compensation. According to Rabbi Akiva, it's a remuneration. It's payment for the damage you did. You were a mazik. You did something terrible. You let your animals run free. You let your fire go out. You didn't watch your fire. It devoured someone else's field. You're responsible. There's a penalty for that. You have to pay Meitav Karmel, Meitav Sadeo. Pay the best that you have. We're giving you a punishment, a remuneration for what you did. So it's a penalty. And that's really, I think, a concise way of explaining the Machlokes, Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva. We'll obviously have to get more into this, into details about remuneration and compensation as we go through the Babas, Maseches Baba Kama, Baba Benzion Basra. But we have Maseches Kedushin before that, and half of Maseches Gittin. I hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.